Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm a postdoc at a public university in Michigan. And my after story is that shortly after finishing grad school, I had to move across the country to go to my first postdoc. And I also had, at the same time, I had to start repaying my student loans. And all the stuff at once, so it was kind of hard. And I was kind of surprised that, this is something no one ever talked to me about. Like, this is a thing to expect. Um, and when I thought about, how this happened, I sort of realized, this is just not a thing that happens to most of the people that I know, um, because they don't have student loans. And that was kind of an eye-opening moment for me when I realized, I got to see firsthand, like, oh yeah, we really do keep out certain people and keep in certain people in academia. Um, which in turn means like we only really elevate certain voices while ignoring other voices. Um, and I thought about it some more, and I saw this is really not an accident. If you look at the job market for the past few decades, you see the amount of tenure track jobs has been going down every year, and the amount of temporary adjunct lecturer and postdoc positions keeps going up and up. And so, yeah, we really are moving into this system where, the jobs are just becoming less secure and worse paying. And if that's not a thing you can deal with, then you're not welcome here. Um, and so, yeah, that's kind of one moment that started getting me thinking, how did things get this bad and how can we change them? Um, Also with the COVID pandemic, my university, we really had a very opaque COVID response. The administration, they basically had the power to say, we're not going to tell you why we're doing this, but we are reopening in-person classes, and you basically have to deal with it. And so predictably, we saw a huge spike in COVID cases in the county. Um, yeah, just in general, the university has not shown any interest in really helping the well-being of this community that it really depends on. Um, Homeless advocates kept asking the university to open up their dorms, which had been emptied during the pandemic, to allow homeless people to have shelter there. And the university just says, we don't care, it's not our problem. And so, yeah, this is not the academy that I want to be a part of. It's not the academy that we could have. And so, just thinking, how do we get to this place, and how can we change things? From looking into it, I see that over the past, 30, 40 years, there's really been this shift in thinking where the university has changed from primarily an educational institution to it's sort of like a business now. We have these big managerial hierarchical structures. We have these huge endowments that, even though audits show a lot of it is liquid and not earmarked, they're still not willing to pay for better conditions. And so, yeah, how can we change this? Well, as just one person, I don't think I have very much of a voice. But I think about if everyone in the community who's negatively affected by these practices, if they get together, certainly our numbers are way bigger than the numbers of people profiting from the way things are. And if we could just get together, then we really have a chance to turn things around and make a more just university that helps everyone in the community. And so that's what started getting me thinking with, about union activism and joining a union. And even more broadly, outside of university, the IPCC released this study a couple of years ago saying we just have 10 more years from today to keep ourselves from crossing that 1.5 degree threshold where we're going to have climate catastrophe. And yet, sort of our electoral processes and such are not doing much to help things, right? We just elected a president who probably went on stage talking about how much he loves fracking. And so I think, again, there's so many more people who are going to be negatively impacted by climate change compared to the people who are going to be profiting from, oil industry and gas industry money. How can we use our power to keep things like this from happening? Well, the answer to me is to unionize and to work together, and to unify our voices around these causes. And so, yeah, I really think the labor movement is a great way to unify our voices. And I really saw the power of this during some strikes last fall. We had our graduate students went on strike in response to our university's COVID plan. And there's this beautiful moment where we were all, picketing around in the pouring rain, trying to shut down construction on campus. And, as the different workers started showing up, the sheet metal workers, the pipe fitters, the electricians, they saw we were on strike, and they decided not to cross the picket lines because, they knew, even though I'd never spoken to a sheet metal worker, I didn't know any of these people, they realized that our struggle was their struggle and vice versa. And so there was just a lot of power in realizing that we're all part of this labor movement, and that I really saw that people really are willing to work together for the common good. And so, yeah, these are a few things that really made me excited to join AFTA and to join up with other academics around the country. I think this is our best chance of steering to a different direction where, on the one hand, the university serves its community instead of its donors, and more broadly, where our governments are responding more to the needs of the people as opposed to the needs of the wealthy few.